Hey yo, hey, Erica with TimetoShrink. It is time to do an 11 months, 10 plus 1, 11 month VSG check-in, y'all. I cannot hardly believe that I'm 11 months post vertical sleeve gastrectomy surgery. Like, this is the time of year last year that I had just found out that I was gonna not be allowed to have vertical sleeve gastrectomy. I had jumped through all the hoops for months and months, and then in the States, Medicare decided to change their regulations and I was not gonna have the surgery. I was devastated, y'all. I was devastated. I had just been watching YouTube for the first time in my entire life. It's when I started watching YouTube was last summer, like last May and into the summer. I remembered my girl Erin over at my VSG confessional and Esther at Esther's VSG Trek had both gone to Mexico, and Erin at my level 10 life had gone to Mexico. So I started rewatching some of their videos, and oh my gosh, I realized I can do this. I can still do this. So this was that time of year where I was investigating all of that, and I had figured out I was gonna go to Portovar to Mexico to Dr. Hidalgo, www.weightlossteam. I'll put it across the bottom of the screen. It was such a good decision for me. I think that was where I was meant to have my vertical sleeve gastrectomy surgery. It was an amazing experience. November 23rd, 2018 was the day that I had my surgery. Let's jump into stats while we're talking about this. When I first started this process last May, I was 270-ish, 270. I was 270 pounds, and on the day of surgery, I was 235 pounds. As of this week, not a very good drum roll, Erica. Anyways, as of this week, I am 170 pounds. Y'all, that's 100 pounds. 270 to 170. I have lost 100 pounds. I am so excited. That was like one of my biggest goals. That's not my end goal, but that was like one of my biggest goals. I wanted to see that 100. And last month I came to y'all at 175 pounds, and over this month I have gotten down to 170. 170. I don't know. There's something about that rounded number of 100. I'm just so proud of myself, so happy, so glad that I decided on this journey, not just VSG, but a keto lifestyle. I think the combination of those two is where I was meant to be and where I plan to have my entire life. That's what I plan to base my lifestyle on moving forward. Following my VSG rules of protein first, always protein first, and then my keto rules that help my lifestyle. I am a chronic pain patient, have fibromyalgia, I have POTS, I have just some other inflammatory issues, and eating a keto diet. Following this lifestyle of mostly healthy, clean eating has made such a difference in my life, and I'm so grateful that I found vertical sleeve gastrectomy and Dr. Hidalgo, and that I found the keto way of eating for my long-term lifestyle. It's sustainable, it's easy, it's healthy, it's anti-inflammatory. I always have to plug keto, even though this is VSG, because if you are a weight loss surgery patient, I think you really should look into it as an option, because just having the surgery is not going to be sustainable weight loss long-term, like our whole life. We have to change our lifestyle. One of the biggest things that I've learned over these months, weight loss, even with a surgery like vertical sleeve gastrectomy, is still 90% mental. If we don't figure it out up here, this is not gonna happen. Now, after a surgery, a drastic surgery, even if you don't really follow it as closely as you should, you will lose some. You may lose a lot. It may not be hard for you. You may feel like, oh, this is no big deal. I didn't even have to change anything. But if you talk to people that are 5 and 10 years down the road that gained all their weight back, they will tell you they didn't change anything. They didn't change their lifestyle. They didn't focus up here. That is like one of the biggest takeaways, is it's almost all mental. If you can figure out the mental, if you can change your lifestyle, if you can set new habits and put them in place and make them rock freaking solid, then you're gonna be successful. Like, that's what it boils down to. It's simple, but it's not easy. Does that make sense? It's simple. You change the mental mind game, you set really, really good habits. But that's not easy to do. That takes work. That takes dedication. That takes knowing what your why is, right, y'all? It totally takes knowing what your why is. My girl Erin over at my Level 10 Life, she has this awesome Facebook support group for bariatric patients, any kind of weight loss surgery patients. It is a pay group, and it is just such a great support. I think it's maybe $5 a month, something like that. So it's not very much, and it's amazing. But on top of that, she recently came out with this e-course for habits. I highly recommend, and I'll have her link down below. Go watch her. All of her YouTube content is absolutely free, and she is such a huge VSG support. I just feel passionate that she is someone in this community that is a pillar of the community, that is all about helping, that has the same heart and mission as I do of just doing this, putting in the hours and the time in YouTube to be there for y'all, to support you, to encourage you, to motivate you. And she came out with this e-course, y'all, all about habits. It's got all these video tutorials. It's got written stuff. It's amazing. And I feel like that's what I am learning, is that the same thing she's saying is what I'm learning, and what I'm saying is that you've got to set your new life trajectory. You've got to change your lifestyle. And a big part of that is committing to healthy habits. So what are your habits? Yours might not look the same as mine, and I'm not perfect on any of my habits by any means, but always getting my protein first, getting enough protein, getting my water. Those are our VSG goals that are so important. Another habit is to never, ever, ever have anything to eat and drink at the same time. Eat, wait half an hour. I'm almost a year out. I do that every single time. I don't plan to ever stop doing that. That is a built-in safety mechanism, not only to not let ourselves overeat, but to absorb those nutrients. When we're eating smaller portions, we need to give our body time to absorb the nutrients. We don't need to be washing things through. For me personally, if I drink water immediately after I eat, oftentimes it just comes right back up. It sits on top of the food and I'll end up throwing up. So that's kind of like a built-in, absolutely don't do this. But I feel like that's really important. Some people don't have that reaction and they feel like, oh, well, I can start doing this again, but there's reasons not to. So that's a habit. Another habit is, how are you moving your body? Are you building in some kind of exercise? Are you just building in keeping more active during the day? Things like that. Maybe a habit of journaling daily, or doing your devotional daily, or just the habitual how we live our life. I get up, I take my medicine. I go take my apple cider vinegar drink, which is new to me. Let me talk about that. I talked last month about how in the last few months how I've been dealing with heartburn, and that's really been bothering me. I've really been struggling with it even though I take meds. A few people had suggested that I try apple cider vinegar, and I knew that was an option, but I didn't think I could do it. I came up with this apple cider vinegar drink. I've seen a bunch of different people do apple cider vinegar drinks, and I kind of took bits and pieces from different people. And what I'm doing with my apple cider vinegar drink is I'm taking a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, a tablespoon of organic lemon juice, a tablespoon of Soleil water, which is my Himalayan sea salt chemically saturated water that has really good trace minerals and obviously a good amount of sodium. Then I pour in a little bit of ginger juice, 1 dropper of stevia, and either fill it with ice and water or a sparkling water. Sparkling waters don't bother me unless they're super carbonated, but by the time I pour that in and stir it and add a little bit of water, there's hardly any carbonation, but just that little bit, and I do enjoy that. I know some people totally avoid carbonation, but in sparkling waters, I'm fine with it personally. That's my apple cider vinegar drink. I have that immediately when I get up in the morning. That is my first thing. I sip on that, try and get through that while I'm doing my morning devotional or any kind of journaling that I want to do. And then I will go in and have my coffee sometimes. I have not had much coffee this month. I've kind of just cut out that part, and I've also cut down on my Zip Fizz. I think the citric acid in my Zip Fizz is not helpful to my heartburn. I cut it out completely for a little over a week over the last month, and my POTS started getting crazy. I started having lots of dizziness. Zip Fizz just really helps keep me stable with my POTS and my electrolytes. POTS is like this thing where my heart rate gets really, really high. I get really dizzy. I can pass out. and it had these palpitations. It feels really, really bad, and electrolyte balance, especially enough sodium and potassium, are so vital for me personally, not just because I'm on keto, but because of my POTS, and I wasn't doing well. So I added back in 1 Zip Fizz every other day, plus I started adding Soleil water to my apple cider vinegar drink, and between those two things, I seem to be doing well. This has been kind of rambly, but the things that really hit this month were 100 pounds. Oh my God, so freaking excited, realizing how important these habits are and how I have built those into my life since vertical sleeve gastrectomy, and acknowledging that I've built those in, looking at places I could get better, what can I add to that. I've also had another whole month of not really logging and just eating pretty much intuitively, and I'm still losing, so I'm happy with that. I've been able to not be so focused on the exact macros, the exact numbers, making sure I'm getting enough of everything. I kind of just know how I feel with what I eat. I know what amounts I can eat, and I don't have to log it all the time. Now, I'm not saying I'm never gonna log again. I still log randomly. I still check my ketones and my blood sugars randomly to make sure that I'm in check, to make sure that I'm where I wanna be. But I don't feel like I need to do it every day anymore. I have been able to relax into this. I am trusting my journey and relaxing and just moving forward with it, y'all. So that's what's going on this month. Not a huge amount of changes, but also some pretty profound changes. All right, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will talk to you again about my VSG journey in a month when it's time to talk a year. Oh my gosh, I'm hoping to put together a really fun video showing you picture changes over the year and all the things I've learned and all of that kind of stuff for next year, for next month. But I also have a cookbook coming out in the next month, so YouTube is kind of taking a little bit of a back burner right now while I'm trying to crank that out, while I'm trying to get it perfect and finish it. But I will definitely have some kind of video put together celebrating my 1 year. Yay! All right, bye y'all. I'll talk to you again really soon.